You pull the trigger, and nothing happens. Not because the rifle jammed, not because you hesitated, but because you've been lying in the same position for 11 hours, and your body no longer registers pain. Your finger barely moves. Your breath is shallow, controlled, invisible. And in 6 seconds, someone 1,000 meters away will either live or die based on a decision you made 3 minutes ago. But you're not there yet. Right now, you're standing in the California desert at 0400 hours, shivering in the dark with 63 other candidates who think they know what a sniper is. Most of them are wrong, and in 8 weeks, 70% of them will be gone. Welcome to Scout Sniper School. They don't tell you on day one that the hardest part isn't the shooting. It's the waiting, the stillness, the psychological endurance required to become something that doesn't exist until the moment it needs to. You're about to learn that being a sniper has almost nothing to do with pulling a trigger, and everything to do with becoming invisible to yourself. The instructors don't yell. They don't need to. They just watch. And when someone breaks, physically, mentally, emotionally, they're gone by sunrise. No drama. No second chances. You either have it or you don't, and right now, you're not sure which one you are. Week 2. You're carrying a 40-pound rifle and gear through sand for 12 miles. Your spotter partner quit yesterday. You don't have time to care. The man next to you collapses from heat exhaustion. You keep moving, not because you're strong, because stopping means failing. And failing means going back to being ordinary. You're not ordinary anymore. Week 4. Stalking drills. You have to move 300 meters across open ground without being seen by instructors with binoculars and thermal optics. It takes you 9 hours to move 30 feet. You're covered in dirt, insects, and your own sweat. Your ghillie suit smells like decay. And when you finally reach the firing position and take the shot, the instructor radios, "Scene, you're dead." You do it again the next day, and the day after, until you learn that invisibility is a skill, not a costume. Week 7. You take your first simulated kill shot, a photo of a target, a scenario, a distance, a wind calculation. You do the math, you adjust, you breathe, you fire, hit. But there's no applause, no congratulations, just a nod. Because this is your job now, and the job doesn't care how you feel about it. Graduation day arrives quietly. You're one of 19 left. You don't feel victorious. You feel different. Something inside you has changed. Not broken, but rewired. You've learned to suppress discomfort, ignore fear, and treat violence as a technical procedure. You are no longer a candidate. You're a spotter now. Your first deployment pairs you with a senior sniper named Reyes. He's been doing this for 8 years. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't need to. You learn by watching. How he reads terrain, how he predicts enemy movement, how he makes a life or death decision in 4 seconds and never revisits it. Your role is support, range estimation, wind calls, target identification, security. You don't pull the trigger. You make sure he can. 3 months in, Reyes lines up a shot on a high-value target in an urban zone. You confirm the ID. You call the wind. You watch through the spotting scope as the target drops. Confirmed, you say. Reyes doesn't react. Neither do you. This is the moment you realize. You're not horrified. You're not thrilled. You're just professional. And that shift from feeling to functioning, is the real transformation. You've stopped being a person who kills. You've become a person who can. And there's no going back from that. Subscribe now, because the shot you never see coming is always the one that changes everything. 2 years later, Reyes rotates out. You don't get a new partner. You become the primary shooter. And the weight of that role doesn't hit you until the first time you're alone behind the rifle with a real target in your crosshairs and no one else to confirm the decision. It's just you. And them. And math. Your first solo kill is clean. A Taliban commander moving between compounds, 800 meters, clear shot, no civilians. You take it. He drops. You radio it in. Mission success. But that night, lying in your bunk, you realize something unsettling. You didn't hesitate. Not even for a second. The person you used to be would have. The person you are now doesn't. You've crossed a line you didn't know existed. 6 months in, you're called to a hostage situation. Insurgents have taken a family. Intel says they'll execute them at dawn. You're positioned on a rooftop, 900 meters out, in near total darkness. Your target is partially concealed. The shot window is less than 3 seconds, and if you miss, people die. You don't miss. The hostages are extracted. The family survives. Your superiors commend your precision, but you don't feel like a hero. You feel like a tool, perfectly calibrated, perfectly used. And for the first time, you wonder, is that what you've become? Years pass. Deployments blur together. Iraq, Afghanistan, classified operations you'll never talk about. You rack up confirmed kills. You save lives. You prevent ambushes. You become known among your unit as someone who doesn't miss. But the thing no one tells you about being exceptional is that excellence isolates you. You stop connecting with people who don't understand what you do. You stop explaining. You stop trying to feel normal, because you're not. Then they pull you back. Not because you failed, because you succeeded. They want you to teach. You return to Scout Sniper School as an instructor. Now you're the one watching candidates break. You're the one evaluating who has the mindset and who's just pretending. And teaching forces you to articulate things you'd only ever internalized. Sniping isn't about aggression. It's about patience. It's not about power. It's about discipline. It's not about the shot. It's about everything before the shot. You watch a kid, barely 22, struggle through a stalking drill. He's frustrated, exhausted, ready to quit. You walk over. You don't yell. You just say, "You're trying to be invisible." Wrong. You need to become nothing. He stares at you. Doesn't understand. Not yet. But one day, he will. Just like you did. Teaching is strange. You're respected. You're calm. You have authority. But at night, alone, you feel something you didn't expect. You miss it. Not the killing. Not the danger. The clarity. In combat, everything made sense. Every decision had a purpose. Every action had a consequence. There was no ambiguity. No gray area. Just mission and execution. Out here, everything is gray. You realize uncomfortably that war gave you something you can't find anywhere else, a reason to be exactly who you've become. After 3 years of teaching, they call you back for one more deployment. This time, you're leading a sniper team. You're no longer just a shooter. You're a strategist, a mentor, a leader. And on a night operation in the mountains, you take a shot that will define your entire career. The target is 1,800 meters away. Wind is unpredictable. Elevation is extreme. Your team watches. Command is listening. You calculate, adjust. Breathe, you fire. Hit. The mission is a success. Your name gets mentioned in classified briefings. You've just made one of the longest confirmed kills in your unit's history. But 2 weeks later, you learn the truth. The intel was wrong. The target wasn't enemy. It was a civilian contractor in the wrong place at the wrong time. Your shot was perfect. Your target was wrong. Keep watching. Because the hardest shot isn't the one you take. It's the one you can't take back. They clear you officially. It was a command failure, not a shooter error. Intel miscommunication, wrong coordinates, wrong identification. You followed protocol. You did everything right. But none of that matters. Because you know what you did. And you'll never not know. This is the shot that stays with you. Not the heroic ones. Not the lives saved. The one that haunts you is the one that was perfect in execution and wrong in reality. And there's no training for how to live with that. You finish the deployment. You come home. You don't talk about it. Years pass. You don't retire. You can't. Not yet. Because you're one of the few left who's done this long enough to understand what it really costs and what it really means. You're brought in to consult on new technology, smart scopes, AI-assisted targeting, drones with precision munitions. The future of sniping, they say, is automation. You sit in the meetings, you listen, you nod. But privately, you know, a machine can calculate wind, distance, and drop. But it can't calculate consequence. It can't carry guilt. It can't choose not to fire. And that's what separates a sniper from a weapon. Conscience. You deploy one final time at age 43. You're older now. Slower in some ways, but sharper in others. You know things younger snipers don't. How to read a situation, how to sense danger, how to stay alive not by reacting faster, but by thinking 3 steps ahead. Your last confirmed kill happens on a routine Overwatch mission. A hostile combatant moving toward friendly forces. 600 meters. Clean shot. Textbook execution. You don't know it's your last. Not in the moment. It's only after you return home, after you process out, after you're handed your retirement paperwork, that you realize that was it. You don't regret what you did. But you don't celebrate it either. Because being a sniper wasn't just a job. It was an identity. And you can retire from a job, but you can't retire from who you became. You took lives. You saved lives. The math will never balance. And maybe that's the point. Maybe mastery isn't about glory or redemption. Maybe it's about carrying the weight of what you were capable of and learning to live with it anyway. You'll never be a civilian. Not really. But you'll learn to pretend. And some days that's enough. You close your eyes. The rifle is gone. But the scope is still there. And you'll see the world through it for the rest of your life. Final line. The hardest part of being a sniper isn't the shot, it's everything after. If this story hit you, subscribe. Because the ones we never talk about are the ones that matter most.